is our special school board meeting for our school board vacancy. We will be reviewing our candidate presentations this evening. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bonnie, can you have a roll call of attendance, please?
Yes. Before I do that, will Mr. Williams be on speakerphone or no?
No.
No. Okay. Mrs. Cerrucci.
Here.
Mr. Gottman.
Here.
Dr. Kalkstein.
Here.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Here.
Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Mrs. Warning.
Here. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody for coming this evening. On behalf of the board, we're very thankful for all the interest in this school board vacancy. We thank all of you for taking the time to come out tonight and just give us and the community an overview of who you are, what your background is, why you would like to be on the school board, and what you think your special skills you would offer the board. So we're going to do this this evening in alphabetical order. Each candidate will have 5 minutes. Mrs. Isha will set the timer for 4.5. So if you hear it go off, then you'll know you have about 30 seconds to wrap up. Because we have so many candidates and we have another meeting immediately following this one, if there is any public comment, we will take that after our regular study session meeting. So with that, let's just get it started. Nicholas Baum, if you would step up to the podium.
Get to the obstacle.
Yeah.
Might I add to it, each candidate provide contact information because the board is definitely encouraged to contact any of the members that are speaking tonight for follow-up questions, discussions, comments.
I do have all the candidates' email addresses.
Email addresses?
At least email addresses that I can double check the phone numbers.
You want to write that on here?
Yeah, put your phone number.
I would say a phone number would be great
I
also.
have everybody's email.
President O'Malley, my name's Baum. I am a resident of Monroeville. I've been here for 12 years now. My background is mostly military. I did 12 years in the Army. I was 82nd Airborne Division. Did a year in Afghanistan. Came home, went to St. Vincent College, bachelor's degree in history, minored in German and political science. After I graduated from St. Vincent, I was still in the military at the time. I did military police while I was in reserve status. When I got out of reserves, I jumped on a company called Union Railroad. I've been there from 2007 until the present. I'm still there. During my time on the Union Railroad, my tenure, in 2012 I took a position as a union contract negotiator, and I just finished that up here last month actually. During my tenure through there, we negotiated 2 contracts, one of which we ended up at a stalemate, and we ended up going to the National Labor Relations Mediation Board in Washington, D.C. Down there for 4 days. We dealt with that. Brought it back, got the contract signed. Luckily it passed through, and then we just did another one here this past time here. Sorry, I'm paper locked.
It's okay. Why do you want to be on the school board, Mr.
My big reason is for the children. I have an autistic child that goes to the school district. My son CJ's 11. He was going to Ramsey, and now he's actually in alternative schooling at Children's Institute. And I believe that having an autistic child, I can be a very good advocate for those children. And that's my main reason for wanting to do this. You know, a lot of parents have, you know, different say, and then I feel that if I'm on the board, I would have the ability to influence, you know, the board in ways that would help those children. That's my main reason for wanting to be here. So that's all I got.
You have a couple more
I'm okay, thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Baum.
I like your tie. I have one just like it. You have good taste.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Dave Beistel, are you here? Oh, he's in the back. Come on, Dave.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is David Weistel. I'm a 30-year or 31-year resident of Monroeville. I moved here in 1987 because I wanted my daughters to go to a diverse school district. My daughters, I have twin daughters that graduated in 2005 with honors. They went on to American University and have very successful careers still in Washington, D.C., thanks to the education they received at Gateway. So my primary goal that goes along with that is, I think education is very, very important. It starts at home, but I would like to see the high standards that Gateway has now continue and hopefully improve them. A little bit about my background. I entered the military in 1967. I don't want to say when I graduated from high school because then I'll probably just be disqualified for being too old for the position. I joined the military in '67, become a clerk typist, and fortunately passed an exam at the replacement center. 24 of us, about a couple of dozen guys out of 2,000 qualified for officer candidate school. I went to infantry officer candidate school in February of '68 and graduated in August of '68 on the commandant's list or an honor graduate of the infantry school. Was selected to go to the presidential ceremony called the Old Guard in Washington, D.C. Spent a year there. Went to Vietnam as an infantry officer with the 101st Airborne Division. Nicholas, Airborne all the way. And after that, I came home and I got out of the service in '71. Started to go back to school. Went to the University of Pittsburgh. Finally received my degree in '83. I worked and managed a nightclub and had a couple other jobs. I got married in '86 or '77, and my daughters were born in '86, as I said. My personal interests are basically family and family activities. I'm an avid reader. I read the newspaper daily. I am a sports fan, a recreational golfer, and I participate in the Autism Walk every year for Mark Wallace's son, Matt. I think we all know who Matty is. Why do I want to be on the board? I think I'd like to be on the board to continue the standards of the Gateway School District and look out for the fiscal responsibility for the taxpayers of Monroeville. I think we need to be cognizant of what's going on. I think there are new challenges coming up for the Gateway School District, and I'd like to be involved in them. And the other thing is I'm willing to listen and to learn. I know, I forgot my work experience. I worked for the Postal Service for 30 years as a letter carrier for 20 years as a supervisor. Was an operations guy. I was responsible for the delivery and collection of the mail daily in buildings all over the city. The last 9 years of my career I was out in a little town called Hunker, PA, which is a mile south of New Stanton, where I finished my career. And I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. I hope you consider me for this position and have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Weistel. Matt Burks was unable to attend this evening. Jack Bova is unable to attend this evening. Mr. Paul Clary, you're up.
I'll just stay up then. Hi, I'm Paul Clary, resident of Monroeville. I've been here for about 8 years now. And previously, I sat on Monroeville Council. And I know the question is, why didn't I run for council again? And at the time, I was busy. I was working 15, 16 hours a day. and I didn't have time to make it all meet. Since then, I've been blessed with a new job to where I only work 8 hours a day, and I have a lot of free time on my hands, and this opportunity presented itself, so I figured I would take advantage of it. My background professionally is business. I am very used to dealing with multi-million-dollar budgets, balancing those budgets, from labor to expenses to everything. When I saw this opportunity, and it truly is an opportunity, and I appreciate you all speaking with us, is I have, currently my oldest daughter is in middle school, and I have 2 more daughters coming behind her, so I got a lot of girls to worry about. Gateway's a great school. My wife's an alumni of Gateway. I wasn't as lucky. I was an alumni of East Allegheny. But it was good. Did I hear something back there? It was good, right? So I wanted to take, and I like to be active in the community. You know, I have a lot of experience working with the school board, working with council. It's not all peaches and cream, but it's actually a good time. I was surprised that I missed it so much when I wasn't doing it anymore. It just kind of feels good, and it's a nice little place there, knowing you're giving back to the community, you know, in whichever way you can. My educational background is I have a bachelor in criminal justice from Waynesburg College. Before it was Waynesburg University. It wasn't in 1967. So. Since then, I've been in business, and pretty much that's what I've done the whole time. I've been here in Monroeville for 8 years now. Yeah, just about 8 years, and I look forward to it. I hope I get an opportunity to sit on this board, and I think the experience that I have as an previous elected official will help me here, and bridge any perceived or real gaps that are currently going on between the municipality and the school board. I think when I was here, I thought we had worked together pretty good, and I'd like to continue that tradition, improve that tradition, and keep the tradition of the excellence of Gateway moving forward and moving upward. And I think that I can lend to that a great deal. And with that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Paul. Susan Delaney.
Should we sign in? My name is Susan Delaney, and let me start with my background. I have been an educator for, and I hate to date myself, for about 46 years. I started teaching actually in Chicago, and then when I moved here, I was with the Pittsburgh school system for about 35 years, and then having come from there and retired, I did not want to be retired. I wanted to still stay in the school system, so I have been up at Gateway, the various schools, mostly high school. That's why I know Mr. Short, Dr. Short. I have been there for the last, I'd say about 11 years. And I've been a resident of Monroeville for about 30 years. My children have all gone through the school system, from Ramsey all the way through the high school. They're proud graduates. They were well prepared and have very good careers, and I'm very thankful for that. In addition to being an educator, I also have, with my husband, we were property owners, in fact still are, and we have done a lot with real estate, not in the Monroeville area, but other areas and in other cities. And in addition to that, I also serve as a judge of election in District, in Ward 2, District 1, right here in Monroeville, and have been doing that for quite a while, 25 years. I also volunteer. I think volunteering is really important, so I have been volunteering up at the Forbes Hospital for the last 11 years since my retirement, and I worked in the pastoral care department and visit patients because many patients were there. They don't have anyone to visit them. And I think I started doing that, as I told many patients, because my mother was in another city before she passed. People were visiting her because I couldn't be there. So this was my way of paying forward. I also am an active member of the Mount Airy Baptist Church, and I'm a contributing writer for our Mount Magazine publication that we have there. I have my bachelor's degree in elementary education from the University of Illinois, and I have my master's degree in learning disabilities, and I've heard a lot of talk of special education here. So I received that from Northeastern Illinois University, and I actually taught at Northeastern Illinois University to teachers who were entering the special ed field. If I pretty much go in order why I want to be on the school board, I think a very simplistic answer would be because of the students. I have a passion, not just teaching, but for the young people in general, and I want to see, as all have said before me, that academic excellence that they have, that has been a tradition of the Gateway School District. We want to see that continue, and I feel that I can contribute in that way from my business sense, but also from my professional sense. And I think we look at things, we'll need to look at it maybe in a couple of ways. We either are going to be preparing students for college, but not everyone is going to go to college, and I think because of my special ed background, I know that some don't, but we need to be preparing them for the world of work. So I'm looking at it in various ways, and it's still academic excellence, and it's still preparing our young people. I'm also interested as a taxpayer and other residents as taxpayers, and I feel that's important. I'm ready to work and assist the team. There's a lot that I would have to learn, but I feel I'm a pretty quick learner, and I'm a hard worker, and I don't see that any of those areas would deter me. I think what we would do as a school board, we're all working for a common goal, and that goal, as I said, is for our children and the community at large. We want to keep that in mind.
30 seconds.
How did my time goes? Okay.
You have 30 seconds to wrap up. You're good.
Okay. I would say some other things, but I also do have a resume here, and I can pass that out at some point too. I think I better stop before I get stopped.
Thank you very much. And we do have your resume. Mrs. Isha sent all the resumes to all the board members.
I resume.
Oh, okay.
Was a letter of intent, but I do
Okay.
have resumes for you.
Great. Okay, thank you. Christian Giles. Is Christian Giles? Oh.
Christina.
Is it Christine?
Christina.
Christina, I'm sorry. Christina, corrected.
Hello and good evening. My name is Christina Giles Lee, and I'm before you today to express my interest in becoming a school board member. A little background about myself. I'm a working mom of 3, 2 boys, 11 and 9, and a 3-year-old diva daughter. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry from West Virginia University, and I graduated from Gateway in the year 2000. While in high school, my activities were cheerleading and choir while enrolled in AP and advanced placement classes. So I have great love and attachment to the school district. Currently, I'm a food safety and quality professional who's worked in corporate and the manufacturing level, taking on leadership roles to see new products launched successfully at co-packers, investigating complaints to assess potential product withdrawals, and performing facility audits. My interest in becoming a school board member stems from watching the school board meetings and reading articles about the meetings and questioning, how can this board make informed decisions for all when the board isn't culturally racially diverse to relate to all who live within the school district. The district has become more diverse over the years, and our school board should reflect that. Since I see this as a gap, I can't be afraid to take a seat at the table to bring change where change is due. Now, I state this as no fault to any of you, but I state it as a realization and as a goal I set for myself in 2016 to help see this change regardless if it was me or another minority appointed to the board. When I moved back to Monroeville and purchased my home that year, I decided I was going to become more involved in my community and in my kids' schools to help drive improvements where improvements were needed and represent the voices of the community that need to be heard. I want my children and other minority children to feel comfortable in their schools, and parents to feel rest assured that the school district that they have their children enrolled in cares not only about their educational development, but also about their social and cultural development. So I researched how to become a school board member and decided to take a more subtle route to gain enough experience to be considered, and found other community boards in Monroeville to apply to. Based on the description and my audit and background, I decided to join the ethics board. But once appointed, I was never contacted or engaged to do anything, so I switched to the Human Needs and Resources Board. Basically, beginning my servitude to the community to gain knowledge on the civil matters and concerns within Monroeville. I've learned a lot from being on the Human Needs and Resources Board, specifically managing the different personalities and work styles from the members. But that's no different than what I have to manage with a job, and known to be a very good team player who takes everyone's opinion and work style into consideration when making decisions as a team. See, I just received a promotion where I work within the quality department, and one of our facility goals is to change the culture where I work to the business become more profitable. I'm the primary person who needs to drive food safety and quality as everyone's responsibility who works in the factory, from accountants all the way down to the production workers. A change that must be driven by working with multiple departments' inputs and suggestions, the same as if I was appointed on this board. With my mind already being set on change and improving, my style of collaboration will be an asset on this board, because you can't push the best solution to a school district problem as an individual. It has to be pushed as a team on one accord and one goal in sight. And I feel the school board will be more efficient in their decision making for all when diversity is represented at the table. Thank you for your time and your opportunity to express my interest in why I should be chosen for this position. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. James LeMay. Greetings.
Well, thank you for inviting us tonight. First, I want to say I'm encouraged to see so many people interested in this appointment. It shows their interest in helping Gateway School District fulfill its mission. It also is a manifestation of the serious concerns regarding the future direction of our district. My name is Jim LeMay. I feel a little uncomfortable about speaking about myself and comparing myself to others. It seems to have an adversarial feel, and I don't think this is an adversarial process. So if it's acceptable to the public, I would rather speak about some of the issues facing Gateway and then refer to my experience, education, and background to highlight my abilities. To quote C.S. Lewis, "The longest way around is the shortest way home." This one sentence captures all that is needed in a public official to ethically serve. There are no shortcuts. Sincere and serious deliberations are the only way to solve our hard issues. I use this attitude in practicing law for 31 years. It was also helpful to me when I was mayor of Monroeville. With each problem, it created an honest working environment. It's a shame that our community has to be put in such an awkward situation. When did personnel conflicts become the taxpayers' issue? From Washington, D.C. to Harrisburg to Monroeville and now Gateway. Why do we have to take sides and be drawn into minor issues compared to the issues facing ordinary people every day? Well, enough is enough. I'm not blaming any party at any level, but I am demanding we move forward. We need to have serious people working on these serious problems. Intelligent and well-meaning people will not spend time away from their families if they are not working with other well-intended people. This is why your appointment will send a message to our community. I'm not saying you have to select me. I'm saying you have to select a person based on merit and not politics. Every organization has political capital, or what you may call trust. The question is, how much political capital does this board have? We have major issues on the horizon, the teacher's contract and a possible tax increase. Neither of these issues can be resolved without trust. I believe during my professional career, I have earned the trust of my friends and neighbors in Monroeville and Pitcairn. I believe I can honestly say I personally know half of the people and have represented the other half directly or indirectly. As mayor, I had, and I still do, have a great working relationship with the employees and residents. Since I've always fairly balanced both interests, it takes time and effort to build a path forward, but it pays greatly at the end. Local government can be gratifying if handled with care. I know a lot of the candidates that applied today, and I believe they're all qualified for this appointment. My suggestion is for the board to match our skill set with the issues on the horizon, since this is only a temporary appointment. Well, thank you, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If you want to call me or email me after tonight, I'd be also happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Neil Nola.
Ms. Vice President and Dr. Short and other board members and other administration and everyone else, thank you for the opportunity to come today to speak. I'm very honored to even be considered, so thank you. Let me talk to you about a little bit personally about me. I grew up in Keysport. I've lived in Monroeville for 29 years. I'm married. I have 3 kids that all went to Gateway, all the way through Gateway. I've been on the board before. I was on the board for 4 years. I think one thing about me personally is that I'm rather fiscally conservative. So I want to make sure that the resources that come into the district are spent in a good way. So I think that we on the board, when I was here, we had a balanced budget. We had accountability for the budget. When I first entered the board, we were using the fund balance to balance the budget. When I left the board, we were putting money into the fund balance. So I think it took a lot of hard work, and it took a lot of things. I helped negotiate the 3 contracts that we have with the unions. I was the lead negotiator on 2 of those, namely the teachers and the Teamsters. I was proud that of the contracts that we got. I think that helped the district, and I also think that it was good to have labor peace throughout the entire time that I was on the board. I'm also very proud that academically we started to achieve better. We had the U.S. News and World Report silver medal, bronze medal. So we actually were progressing while still having taxes stay in check and being mindful of the budget. I actually didn't even want to leave the board, but I ran for council. And the reason I ran for council was because I think I left Gateway in a decent spot, a better spot than when I got there. And I think that that's what you should ask for, to make it a little bit better. And I think I did do that. And I thought that I could help the municipality do the similar things with their contracts, with their budgets, and try to make them better. So that's the reason why I ran. I didn't want to not be on the board. I wanted to be doing something else for the community. The actual board, though, has 3 main functions, in my opinion. And that's to set the goals and the direction of the district, to make policies, and to manage all the resources. I think that it's very important. I think that everybody, and I think I used to say this all the time in our meetings, everybody has great value. I respect everybody, I listen, and I maintain an open mind about everything that goes on in the district. I'm very approachable. I think that I have a great working relationship with everybody, all the current board members that are here, all the staff. I remember sitting in executive sessions, and I remember telling a couple of these board members this just a couple of days ago, actually. An issue would come up, and I would listen, and I would be thinking to myself, Bill, what do you think? And I would ask him all the time. Or I would turn to Dennis. I said, Dennis, what do you think? And I would always ask them, because those guys are the educators. We're supposed to manage the board. I mean, manage the district a little bit. But these guys run the district. And I think that it's important to let them run the district. So let me tell you a few things that I believe in. I believe in cooperation rather than confrontation. I think that that's the way to go. I think you always should be trying to cooperate. I believe in protecting the district. I think that it's very important that Gateway is always seen in a good light, because that's really what our objective is as a board. Our objective on the board is to make sure that everybody outside thinks that Gateway is the best place to ever go, and because I really believe that it is. I think that you have to have respectful transparency and be mindful of all of our priorities, which I believe the priorities: students, administration and staff, residents of Pitcairn and Monroeville. That's what's important. So I also believe in Gateway. That's why I'm here. I'm here because I believe in Gateway. I have one quick thing I wanted to say. When I was in college, I had a football coach, and he wrote me a reference letter, and it said, although he's not the titular head, he can always prod the group into action. I took that to heart, because I think that that's one of the things I can do. You don't always have to be the head dog. You got to be a good teammate, and you got to make sure that you can get people to do the things and to be respectful and respected. So I want to just ask you that if you give me this opportunity, I think I could be a good leader and a good team member, and I guarantee you that you'll have my respect, and I will respect you, and you can respect the things that I do. And I just thank you for all your consideration, and go Gators.
Thanks,
Thank you
Neil.
very much.
Mandal Singh.
So, this is Mandal, and thank you to the board and to my fellow applicants. I already learned a lot with various people's interest, and so briefly about myself. So I was born in India. My first job over there. I taught in a University of Udaipur for about 4 years, and I have been in academic settings ever since. I came to United States for graduate studies at University of California, and then I came to Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh in '94, and moved to Monroeville in 2010. The reason to move was my wife has many friends because of Westinghouse. There are quite a few countrymen from India here, and so my wife had many friends here. So towards the retirement, we decided that we want to move out of the city and come to Monroeville. So it has been wonderful, and so as I came to Monroeville, I have been inspector of elections, volunteering for the last 4 years. I am board member of the Monroeville Library, and Paul here relies on to the library, and so you already have somebody who mentored me, and I participate in various other forums and neighborhood and our temples. My wife and I were married in India and have raised 2 children here in the States. They have been through San Diego public school systems from elementary to high schools. So why on school board? To me, the right of citizenship by birth and a right to K through 12 public education is very precious, and I would like to do anything to contribute to make things better. And my background in science and technology may be useful to you people. And briefly again, if I have my candidacy, so I have spent my career in academic and educational environment. I've served at the board, municipality, the public Monroeville Library, and so I learned about the process of passing the budget and passing the various steps in the public body management process. And so again, I'm sure the membership, the board here at the district will be a learning curve and challenges, but I think I'll be up to the task. And anything else, I mean, you want to mention something maybe not related, but so many institutions have been, I worked at Salk Institute, and they were the only one who wanted to see my degree, PhD degree from California. And they were surprised to see that it was signed by Ronald Reagan. So so in University of California system, the governor of the state is the regent, is the head of the regent of the university system. So he signs the degrees. So they were very stunned by it. And until then, I had it in my drawer. I didn't realize that it could be stunning to some. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to see the Ronald Reagan signature. Last but not least, Mr. Chad Stubenborg.
Thank you very much. I'll keep my background pretty brief. Most of you are very familiar with me. My name is Chad Stubenborg. I graduated from Duquesne University with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, majoring in Entrepreneurship and Finance. Currently served on the board as Board Vice President and President as well. I'm a lifelong resident of the district, an alumni, and recipient of the school's Most School Spirit Senior Superlative when I graduated from Gateway less than 10 years ago. As my voting record has shown over the past 4 years, I vote my conscience and not along clique lines or even political lines. So what is it that this board needs? I really believe that's the question we need to answer this evening. You need someone with a proven track record of financial literacy as you're looking at a proposed $1.2 million tax increase to balance this year's budget, while also looking at contract negotiations and the sale of a large parcel of land. You also need someone who has experience on the board, as the board overall is pretty green. Let's start with the budget. Has anyone in this room, aside from Paul Shaw, actually printed out the 230-page budget that is being proposed this year? So it is, and it seems to be a Herculean task, but it's something that needs to be done. We need to go through this line item by line item. By doing so, over the past 4 years, we've been able to cut millions of dollars out of this budget, and as far away from the classroom as possible by doing just that. When we first got onto the board, we were not going through line item by line item in the budget meetings, and we were also not using true zero-based budgeting. So by utilizing both of those, yes, it's a much more drawn-out process. I'm sure Paul does not enjoy that very much, but we have been able to cut millions from there. When I got onto the board, we raised taxes, and we also used $500,000 from the general fund to balance the budget that year. Since then, we've had a surplus over the last few years, and it looks as though we'll have another surplus again this year. That's not by coincidence, that's by hard work, and it's work that the board definitely needs to do and to look at. Next, you have to hire someone to come in and help with contract negotiations because no one knew the previous contracts well enough. So we actually are now paying someone to come in and look at them. I've spent time in this basement, actually Delaney can attest to this, looking at contracts going back to the 70s here. So the information's there, and we just need to, again, learn from our past and learn how these things came to fruition again. So I know this budget and the contracts better than anyone, probably aside from Paul Schott, which leads me to my next point. I'd be crazy not to address rumors and criticism head on, as the rumor mill in Monroeville and Pitcairn always seems to be in full gear. I've heard that I'm cocky and I'm arrogant. Some may misconstrue the last line about knowing the budget better than anybody else is cocky, but there's a huge difference between being cocky and being confident. Being cocky is when you attempt to speak over someone when you're engaged in a debate. Being confident is knowing you did your homework, knowing that you know the facts, and you can sit here and calmly portray the facts. When I've gone before council on several matters with regard to school district, as many of you can recall, I stayed cool, calm, and collected, even when council members were yelling insults. The reason I can do that is because I've done my homework. Again, when you're confident, there's no reason to yell or scream. Speaking of council, that's a great segue into my next point. Another criticism I've heard as of lately is my relationship with council is poor, and this would not help the district. Again, I'd ask that you actually watch my interactions with council. I've always been polite, and I've never once raised my voice. The main reason the council was upset was due to us creating our own police force, which I'm pretty sure everyone here is in favor for now, and us looking to sell Gateway Middle School without their consent. They wanted to set up a contract where we would pay one of their officers more than 3 times what we pay our officers, and sign a 5-year deal. This was not then and is not now in the best interest of any stakeholder of the Gateway School District. Look at the way the council members behaved at the Gateway Middle School meeting a month or 2 ago. This just goes to show that it's not just me that they speak to that way. I will let their records speak for themselves. Lastly, I've heard the rumor that I no longer live in the district. These rumors are great. When I ran for mayor, some people spread pretty mean-spirited rumors then, none of which were substantiated. I suppose when you stand up for enough things in your life, you create quite a few enemies. Anyways, I pay taxes to the Gateway School District by way of earned income taxes. I've never once had a check sent back to me saying, "Sorry sir, you no longer live in the district." My driver's license, concealed carry permit, voter registration, FINRA and SEC registrations, all banking information, and my taxes, all mail goes back to my residence at 510 California Avenue in Monroeville. I was looking at purchasing an investment property in the city this winter, however, I decided it'd be best to wait. Now, I will fully admit there's nights I stay in New York City, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Washington, D.C., Tampa, etc. for work. Even downtown Pittsburgh if I have to be in early, whether that be in a hotel or a friend's house. I'm dedicated to advancing my career. I travel quite a bit and work long hours because of that. This does not mean that I reside in any of those places where I stay the night. However, if any board member does decide to vote based on a false narrative, I would appreciate a refund check to Paul for the taxes paid. I know this district inside and out, and I promise to be dedicated to this district. I do my homework on all issues, I'm open and transparent, and I will work my butt off for all stakeholders. You will not agree with me all the time, but I promise I will never act out of personal interest, and I will always vote for what I believe is best for everyone within the Gateway School District. I will show up on day one ready to hit the ground running. Several of you talk to me on a regular basis seeking advice. If I did not give sage advice, why would you reach out to me? You have a difficult decision to make, and honestly, it's not one that I envy. But let's get past the rumors and make the decision for what is best for the Gateway School District. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steubenport. In closing, again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come out here. As you can see, we have some phenomenal candidates. You all are phenomenal, and I really wish that we could pick everybody. The board does have a difficult task ahead of us. We are going to continue to talk to the candidates and do our best to gather information. And as some people have asked, what's the procedure? We have 30 days from when we accept the resignation of Mr. O'Donnell to appoint. So a majority of the remaining board of 5 people will determine the next board member. With that, I'll seek a motion for adjournment. We'll take a recess for about 10 minutes, and then we'll begin the regular study session meeting. And again, on behalf of all of the...
Mary Beth, I have one thing I'd like to bring up. If we just could take 3 or 4 minutes.
Sure, Mr. Ritter, go ahead.
As an example of how this board really works so hard to try to improve things here. I've just come up with a little, I just want to bounce it off because I'm pretty sure you'll approve it. This is what I'm calling the staff improvement program. You know, everybody is not perfect, so I'm thinking that if we just adopt a few protocols, this would help. So the first one, of course, is board socialization. We need to get to know you better. You need to get to know us better. So what we'd like to do is just have you invite us to come to your homes for cookouts. One a week or something like that. That would be, that's what I'm thinking of. Another one would be school pride. School bus yellow. You could identify yourself best in the community by painting your cars Rust-Oleum school bus yellow. People could wave to you. You could wave. It improves the communication. School census. I think with the reduction of the number of students that we have here, it would be wise, and I'm recommending that the board vote to have each of you have at least 1 or 2 or 3 kids over the next year or 2. Next, zoological awareness. To be able to take care of kids, you need to be able to at least be responsible to take care of pets. So I'm thinking that the first year, everyone needs to have 1 cat. Second year, double that, increasing your responsibility. 2 cats, 3, 4, 8, 16. If you can do that, that would really, really help us out. So that's the third. Physical improvement, of course, everyone should become enrolled in the 26-mile marathon. Plus, did you know Lynn Swan took ballet lessons? So those are the 2 areas of improvement that I'm going to suggest. Now, how are you going to pay for all this? This is a lot of work to register for all these things. So here's, and I know you don't like this, here's the way out. Salary reduction in the first year, 50%. If we reduce your salaries, you can use that to try to manage better your cats and barbecues there. And then what we have is what's called a step increase each year. So the second year, we reduce your salary by 60, and then 70 until we get to perfection, which will be 100% reduction in 5 years. With all that money, this is revenue neutral. So I know, Paul, you would be in favor of this for the budget. So, I think if you're all in favor of that, just, thumbs up. Okay, so the last thing is when to make this active. This is a great set of great ideas. I think what we should do is push it back to the beginning of this month. What is that, April 1st?
April 1st.
So, and Mr. Short, what's the moniker for April 1st?
April Fools.
All right, so listen, April Fools, guys, we really appreciate you and the great things you do for us. And so with that, we have Alex, the world's best baker in the world. He's
Yeah, that's not an April Fool's joke.
April Fools, and it has a beautiful cat on it. So listen, Alex, if during this break, you and your mom, Audrey, if you could go ahead and take this and pass a little slice of cake out to everybody. Okay, Alex. Thank you, staff. We really appreciate it.
George, can you give me a motion to adjourn?
Yes. Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed?
Break, 7:30.